Could you use a quick tip daily? How about a tip that can impact your day? My name is Raphael. Join me as I bring you tips by experts around the world. These experts have shared their knowledge and wisdom with me and will directly share them with you. Make sure to subscribe, like, follow, and comment, and I would love for you to become part of the New Tip Daily community. Good morning, James. How are you, my friend?
Good morning, Sifu. I am doing wonderful. How are you this wonderful 9:31 in the morning?
Well, I got to tell you, I am exceptional and I'm getting better every day.
Nice.
So I love what we're going to be talking about is unlock your potential, right?
Yes.
And you, my friend, I'm going to give you some kudos that you did not expect, but
Oh, here we
when,
go.
when, when I see people, right, and they talk and they say things and how amazing they are, it's great when somebody says it, but when their actions really say it, it speaks volumes. And when I met you in person in Maryland, your actions, man, talk about detail. You were in charge of things, but it had to be exactly a certain way. It had to be exact so that you would get the best from what you were trying to accomplish. And I only know that because when everybody was snoring, I saw you out there setting up, making things exactly great for everybody. And what nobody notices when they go into the room, they expect it, but they don't know the effort or even the vision that goes into it. So I love that about you, that most other people would have ran in 10 minutes before the event and fixed things. You were there hours before. You were setting up, you were making sure everything was exactly the way, so it looked inviting. So it looked like no big deal, right? So sometimes when you look at something and you don't even realize that it's changed, but so much effort and thought went into it, man, you do that beautifully. So kudos, my brother.
Oh, well, thank you very, very much. And I definitely want to receive that because that's cool. There's a lot of things that we pay attention to that we don't pay attention to, if that
Mhm.
makes sense, right? And
Yes.
I very much agree with you in the sense that there's a certain level of detail that should be had, not only in events, but in general, right? Just life in general. So it's also cool when people notice that you notice those things. So I just want to say thank you very much for that, my friend. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. But that's where you it's the details, right? It's the details that help you unlock that potential that's inside every one of us. And so
Mhm.
many people, they don't feel they're worthy. They don't think that little slight little action is going to make a difference, but you know that. You know that the details matter. So I'd love to hear some tips on how you help your clients unlock their potential.
Oh man. Well, I love what you're talking about in terms of the little things. So one of the things that I almost verbatedly preach is that the littlest things that we do have the greatest impact. And it could be something as small as like just adjusting certain things in terms of like how to set up an event to make it look a certain way. Or
Mhm.
it could be just walking down the street and giving somebody a compliment at random that people don't normally expect. Those things are what people will remember, and those things are what I've noticed in my own journey of getting out of my own space and out of my own way. So I would key into just the little things. Like everybody, we talk about, and I say we because generally in the area of expertise is we talk about like that massive transformation, and we talk about those massive like impacts, like that one thing that'll change everything. But it's not one thing that changes everything. It is the little things that we do over time that changes everything. So it's important because that one massive impact or that one aha moment, that might not be enough to bring it consistently.
Mm.
It is when you notice things like, okay, like where am I at? How am I feeling? Why am I feeling this way? What am I doing? How am I operating? Who am I serving? Am I serving them to the best of my ability? Sometimes we need to check ourselves. And a lot of us don't want to do that because forced accountability or face-to-face accountability is always the hardest, right? We always don't want to look inside of ourselves. We can give everyone else advice, but we don't take our own type thing, you know? So to kind of bring it back, because I don't want to talk too much.
I want you to talk. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I
Really say
got
hi to
you.
Mandy. Mandy. Woo. Hi, Mandy.
Oh, Batwoman. I love this woman. This woman is one of my special people. She is fantastic. But yeah, it's not about running fast. It's about slowing down. It is about being, in the moment that you're in, because every moment that we miss is a moment and an opportunity that we don't have. And time's not something we can rewind. So if we're too far forward, we're going to miss opportunities here. And if we're too far in the past, we're going to miss things that are coming too. So um, I always say stay present, stay focused, and just do one little change each day or each week over time. And when you fast forward 6 months, you won't even recognize where you're at or what you're doing.
Michael Faber's in the house.
Michael Faber, yes. The man, the myth, the legend. I'm glad he checked his clock.
Absolutely. And he calls you out. James Muller.
Oh, I love it when he does that.
And so it is the little things that we do on a daily basis. And even though we don't see results immediately, they add up, don't they?
They 100% do.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, they do. Perfect example is the event that you were speaking of right in the beginning, right?
Right.
Um, it is funny because I woke up every day at 4 a.m. I was down there by 5 a.m. I was setting up, getting situated. I was making sure things were, as they needed to be. And mind you, that was just of my own accord. Like I wasn't told to do that. I wasn't expected to do that by any means, right? It's just one of those things where Michael Faber's like, I'm glad James showed up. Yes, I do. Every once in a while I'll show up. But it's also in how you show up, right? Like I love being a part of things, and I love being able to just do things a little bit differently than most people. And some of the greatest moments of that were just in the setup. Like our conversations before everything started, your kindness in bringing coffee from Dunkin' to me, I think 2 of the 3 days, right? Like, and just the conversations and getting to know people before people put their face on to show up at an event. That's what I love about those details, because those are opportunities that you could miss. And we're fast forwarding now, right? People are still talking about that. They're still complimenting the little things. They're still complimenting the host of the event. They're still complimenting Jose for the things that they saw. And I that's a really great feeling. So yeah, it's very humbling at that too.
Absolutely, absolutely. When you consider what you said, that no one asked you to do it, but it's who you are when you step up, when no one is asking you to do something, but you realize that those little actions will make a difference,
Yes.
even if nobody notices it, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I definitely noticed it, right?
Yeah.
And everybody came by and just, hey, how you doing? And they walked by, but I was like, hey, man, what are you doing? Like, I'm
Yeah.
setting up. But it's incredible, and when you're focused, you're there, right? But also,
Yep.
you did not kind of have your hand in the sand and did not notice other people, because you noticed everyone. You took the time to greet everybody, anybody who was in front of you, even somebody you saw over, you screamed out their name, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Because people matter to you, and I think that's a huge thing that we have to take into account when we're associating ourselves with other people. Because if people only think of, oh, me, look, hey, let's talk about, enough about me. What do you think about me? Right. So we want to get away from that, and we
Yeah.
want to go where people actually matter. It's almost, I have clients of mine who say to me, every time I show up, I feel like I'm in the show of Cheers. Everybody
Oh,
knows my name.
yep.
And everybody, no matter where, everybody says hello to her. And she's like, this is my second home. She's been with me, I think, 25 years now.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
for her to still feel that way, she comes in and, her daughter walked in not too long ago. And I knew when she was pregnant with her daughter. I knew her
Oh, wow.
before so it's pretty cool when you can serve somebody and make them feel heard and that they matter, right? So
Yeah.
yes, Mandy, people matter.
They do. There's It's actually really interesting because one of the things that I love to be of service to is people. My entire life, I've always wanted to, I guess, if I quote unquote help, but help comes in various forms and help comes in various means, right? And I never pictured that I would be in my own business doing the things that I do now, serving people. And I think helping and serving are two very different things. And what I've noticed along my journey, particularly, is that if it came to like the event space or the team space or the coaching space or even just talking to people and building friendships, it it's how they pay attention to you that matters. Mandy just put a wonderful comment up. You might not remember you, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. And that's the truth because I can tell you, I was the guy in the back of the room that, would just listen in and then leave. I was the guy like in the very beginning that, would just kind of watch everybody else do their thing, but then never step out to do my own thing. And I had to I had to make a change for that because if I was expecting, I don't know what I was expecting, but I know what I wasn't getting. And
Mm,
so sometimes in order to get the change, you got to be the change, right?
right.
So I made a decision in I can't talk at an event that I went to. I was like, I'm just going to play full out. I'm just going to show up. I'm going to be present. I'm going to be me, whether I think it's uncomfortable or not. I'm just going to just do that. And as an attendee, I met so many different people in there at still talk to me today, almost 10 years ago, and I've only
Wow.
met them once,
Wow.
and that's where it comes for me. So when I see people, and now one of my bread and butters in filming is I film weddings. So when I'm at that wedding for the day, I know their name. I know who they are. I might not be with them very long, but I'm with them at the best proverbial day of their life. So I'm going to exhume that energy. I'm going to get things out of people that nobody will get because people might not be paying attention to that, right? So it's just the little nuanced details. Even stopping somebody and go, "Hey, how are you?" "Oh, yeah, I'm fine." And you wait like 2 or 3 seconds to go, "No, how are you really?"
Yeah.
Bringing them into the moment, the present, right? Because even in those scenarios at events, weddings, even the show, even right here, we could think about the next 10 minutes or what we're doing afterwards, but then we're automatically missing the quality and clarity that we could be bringing to the table. Um, so no, people are very important. People do matter. And I have a personal fascination with people. I love learning about people and I love hearing about other stories because stories really like is the greatest creation that we can really learn have or other people's experiences because we can apply them in our own ways and that can help us get better and help us be more in tune with other people around us. So yeah, I love the nuances of what you were saying.
Well, yeah, I mean, and you're talking about stories and everything else, but, and you talk about understanding maybe where somebody is through their story because, reading a book, right, helps us understand somebody else's journey. And sometimes we can say, wow, I just learned something. yet I maybe never met that person.
Yep.
Also, we can evaluate where we are, not to compare, but to evaluate.
Yep.
Am I doing everything I need to be doing in order to unlock that potential within me?
Yep.
Because they wrote the book, they have a story behind it. Hopefully, it's a good book.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because with all the books that come out every single day, not everyone hits a home run.
Right.
But the ones that hit a home run, wow, it's incredible. And for us to be able to even I just this week I bought 3 books. I probably spent like $80, right? Because I'm the guy that I don't like soft cover books because I want to keep them.
Yep.
I'm a hardcover guy. If unfortunately there is no hardcover, then yeah, if it's a good book, I'll have to get the soft cover. But I love hardcover books because they sit on my shelf and I can pick them up every so often. Is that you beeping or is that me beeping?
No, that's me. Apparently, my my mute button didn't mute that noise. My apologies.
No problem. Um, I just want to make sure that you're not being called to another more spectacular show than mine.
No, I am fully present and locked in, my friend. I practice what I
No, you're
preach.
so when we can learn from someone who maybe they tell us about the mistakes they did and how they resolved them. Because I believe that with every mistake or every obstacle in our way, there's different ways that we can handle them. So when we consider reading somebody else's story, I love reading about people. I love stories when they even engage with other people.
Yep.
And when I think of you, I'm remembering you there late at night. You're participating, you're in the event, you're basically everywhere, yet you're invisible, which is it's a skill, my friend. It's a skill, especially as a wedding photographer. You're noticed, but you're not noticed, right? The great ones are invisible, yet everybody sees them. But meanwhile, they're invisible because they're not in anybody else's way. Right? I've been to weddings and I've seen some terrible photographers, and I was like, man, they need to get kicked in the head. But not you. You were amazing, but you showed up not only at all of the events that were going on, whether it was a dinner or an outing, anything, but then you were there super early to get everybody to have a great experience. And it was not a request for you. It was on your own doing. And that, my friend, speaks volumes because a lot of people don't realize what it takes to step up when no one requires it.
Yep.
It's helping the little old lady across the street, right?
Yep.
And even if it's not raining, right?
That's
So
true.
what is it that you realized 10 years ago that I need to be present at this show? I can't be in the back anymore. And it made a huge difference. What was the shift? What was the immediate thought after the event where you actually connected with people?
So it was actually during the event where it really hit. But one of the decisions that I made was, and something that I actually think about now in tandem is when we go to events, whether or any live event, whether it's a wedding, a seminar, a movie, a concert, a show, we always build up a preconceived notion of what our experience and expectations are going to be before we get there.
Mhm.
um we think the movie's going to be great, or the movie might suck, or we might not like this person that invited us to this wedding, but we're going to go and maybe have an okay time, right? Or we go to a seminar and we're like, all right, cool, we're going to get the value, but what value? Or are they just going to upsell me? Or like, you just get all of these thoughts and you're not being present before you even get there. And I realized that, and I was like, you know what? I just want to forget it. I'm just 100% open mind, 100% experience. Just take everything in that this event has to offer, whatever it is. And I did that. I didn't have any expectations. I didn't have any, like, preconceived notions. I just knew I was going to show up. I was going to show out. I was going to play full out, and I was going to have fun, and I was just going to take it all in. And that was literally one of the coolest experiences of my life. And I made friends that I wouldn't have normally made. I made connections that I wouldn't normally make. And at that event, it connects me straight to this moment, because I met people like Austin Haynes at that event, who connected me to Jose, who connected me to Michael Faber, who connected me to, you. And this is almost a 10-year experience and journey. And the only thing I did different was, I'm just going to show up. I'm just going to be, and I'm just going to take it in for what it's worth. And then it's been one interesting ride since.
Absolutely, absolutely. And let's let people understand that showing up is not enough. I think participation, which is what you did, is the other key component to that showing up. Because showing up is a beautiful thing, but without participation, I've had
Yeah.
people come to events that I had, parties even, and I had a couple that came in, really nice couple. They sat by themselves. They talked to
Yeah.
no. And I was like, "Hey guys, I hope you're having fun." They're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "No, you're not." I said it to myself, right? I didn't want to offend them, but and they came over, and eventually they broke up, so they didn't come anymore. But
Right.
they they were so maybe afraid
Hmm.
of communicating, and they held on to each other for that comfort. Right?
Yep.
And I think that's what we do when we go to a place where we are looking for the comfort, and then we step out of it, we get uncomfortable. And sometimes when you get uncomfortable, that's when you shine. That's when things happen. That's when you become that diamond in the rough, right?
Yep. Yeah, I love what you're saying here, and I'll agree with you, because showing up isn't enough. It's not. You can be all in, like you can pay for the tickets, you can pay for the experience, you can pay for even the learning or training, or you can go online and look up something to, like, better level yourself up. That you could be all in to do that, but if you don't go all out with it, you'll never get the full experience. Immersing yourself
Immersing yourself
into
into
what you're doing. That's the important thing. Being able to be a part of the event, not just showing up to watch the event. Anybody can watch, but to participate, to engage, to say, you know what? I had enough of just sitting. I'm going to be in. I'm going to play the game. I'm going to be a part of the game. I'm going to enjoy the game, even if I am uncomfortable, even if I feel a little awkward and weird, right? Because right back to the title of the show, you're unlocking things about yourself that you might not know, and you might find things out about yourself that you might not have understood unless you go for it. We could be anywhere in the world. You can be in front of the Eiffel Tower looking at the most beautiful sunset in the world, but if you're not looking at it, if you're not experiencing it, if you're not taking it in, it's just a moment. It's just something that disappears as quickly as it's there. And that's one of the reasons why, being I always come back to presence, because it's important. Because if you're worrying about, sitting by yourself, or trying to strategize the least amount of things you can do but make it look like you're doing something, um, it definitely does make a difference. And you see it across the board with anybody, really. So, when you're unlocking things, or when you're trying to level yourself up, you got to be able to be all in and go all out, even if it's not something that you be used to or comfortable with. We don't know what we can do until we actually do it, right?
Without a doubt, without a doubt. Uh, so as you can see, you knew where I was sitting every time, right? You're like, "Yep, that's yours." When I show up, I am if I'm not in the front, I might as well not go. If I can't pay attention to what's going on, if I'm not present, it doesn't suit me, because it's not that I have fear of missing out. It's that I want to grow with
Yeah.
every person who's in front of me. Every whether it's a course, it's a workshop, well, I can't be in the front row in the movie theater because then you have to your neck's gonna hurt. But you
Yeah.
get the best seats, right? So
Yeah.
for me, it's always about an opportunity to grow every single time. Tell me one thing, if you don't mind, before we take off.
Sure.
How important is taking pictures?
So this is interesting. So I dabble in two sides of this. So photos I think are awesome. I think taking pictures really tells a still frame shot and has a great story behind them. I'm more for film.
Mm,
The reason why I say for film is you have moments in motion that you'll never capture again. Just like photos, right? If you take a still shot or if you're doing something like it's the candidness of what things are about that I go after. So if I see people just having fun on the side, I'll film that. If I see people, like just the little nuances that make the experience. It's important for several reasons. I never used to be a photo guy. I thought it was weird. I thought it was interesting. I just people taking selfies, doing all this fun stuff, and then I had experiences where I lost some family members, and I didn't have very many photos with them, and that really resonated in a way that I needed to change that. So I called myself out. I got over my fear, and I started just showing up in photos. Now, for people, for events, for pictures, for film, anything that can help recollect or bring the memory of what that was to you back is priceless. Because you might have that aha moment and somebody in the crowd has that moment and somebody gets a photo of the crowd reacting to that moment. You now have that forever. Or the crowd that, jumps and starts cheering for like their favorite speaker, right? They have that moment forever. Or if your team wins the Super Bowl and the reaction of the fans, right? You have those moments forever. And we have them in our minds, but sometimes it's easy to forget them because we're always on to the next thing. So, photo and film is very important, not only with just events, but in life, because it'll help us bring us back to those things that we want to remember or that we want to hang on to in a good way. So, I would say it's vital. And photo and film for an event or anything can really level up the difference between an event and it being an experience for someone.
mhm. Especially somebody who maybe couldn't have made it, right? I think that speaks volumes. When I love candid pictures. I
Yes.
love candid pictures because it's like somebody like making a funny face or something, or just an action that got captured, and I think it's incredible. But I love the fact that technology has allowed us to do pictures from film, right?
Hmm.
It allows us to do that. So, um, great, um, I can't even say it myself. See, I can't even talk. Cinematographers can actually grab that image from the film, right?
Yeah.
And they can even, Photoshop it, if you will, because Photoshop's still very well, Lightroom and all these other technologies that we have in order to capture a moment even better and to enhance a moment. James, I got to tell you, I love talking to you, and this was only supposed to be 15 minutes, and there we go. We went longer. But I want to thank you for today, and I can't wait. You're going to be on Heroes Rising, but I actually would love for you to come on coaching calls so we can do a deep dive into who you are as a human being, because I think you're an exceptional one, and love to get to know you deeper.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. And yeah, I mean, we can always jump in and set some stuff up. That'd be great. And thank you for the invite for this, by the way. This was pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was kind of last minute, wasn't it? But thank you for jumping on as well.
Not a
Uh,
problem, my friend.
Truly appreciate it. So have yourself an exceptional day. Everybody, do me a favor. If you like the show, let us know. Hit the replay button, hit replay if you watch it later. And of course, follow my good friend, James Muller. Everybody,
Thanks.
Have yourself an exceptional day.